Hiya Mark, great to meet up with you again on the range yesterday and do some further work on your game. Just a quick recap on the points covered. The main concern initially at setup was putting you in a better position to make a nice turn and get the arms working in a little bit more. We can see there that we turn both feet out now, as per what we see here with Charlie Wee. Much better position to make this right hip move up and back, allowing the right leg to straighten, getting the club and the arm to work in more from P1 and onwards up to P4. That aside, we're making a much better move from the top than we were making initially. So we just run that through from face on there, and we look at the amount of down lag you now create. That's a lot better than what it was previously. So from P4 to P5, you can see now there's an increase in the angle between the shaft and the left arm, which wasn't there before. So that initially is an improvement. There's much more linear movement, left knee moving forward, left hip moving forward. There's a return to forward flexion as you come through. So the sternum and the left shoulder have started to run forward. So that's a sign that the hips have stopped moving forward, and we'll come to that a little bit later. But the key thing that we tried to work on last time was improving that down lag, having a little bit less release coming in to P7. You can see there that the shaft has started to back up somewhat, largely due to the fact that we're flattening that right wrist out and trying to shift that plane to the left a little bit or releasing the club. So initially a better move. Big change at setup required. Turn both feet out and let's get the shaft of the club pointing a little bit more to the left hip, which again is going to make it easier for us to get the club to come in earlier and hit out at the ball better coming through impact. So we want your setup looking a little bit more like you see here with Charlie in the centre of your screen in regards to both foot flow and handle location. If we look at the swing from down the line, the first thing we see is during the takeaway, that club stays very much on the line. As the club stays on the line, that's causing the hands to get elevated a little bit too soon. Coming off hand plane a little bit too soon, so the hands don't work in enough, and then we just get a bit above elbow plane as we get to the top of your backswing. So a little bit above plane, we then stay above plane coming into P5, trying to get the club back on plane by extending maybe a touch early, but you can see there your club is above plane, and from that point, very difficult to hit a draw. Add to that the fact that we release the club and bend the plane to the left as we saw with flight scope, and you can see what we're going to get here is a shot that's going to start left of the intended target. If you're playing a lot and you're at the golf course, you can make that work. You'd have to align yourself a long way to the right to allow yourself to draw it back onto the target, but invariably we're stuck between hitting a bit of a pull and a bit of a leaky one down the right hand side. Everything else that happens after that is of very little consequence. What I want to look at really is improving your ability to get that club coming from the inside. So at P6 we want the club more in line with the hands rather than out in front of the hands and above plane as we see there. And the big thing for you is to just get the ball back in the stance initially, work on the grid, learn what it's like to come from the inside and learn what's required to move the hands or move the club in at P6. Big changes, feet flowed out better, handle location further forward, plenty of work on trying to start the ball at the right initially. Like I said, I don't mind the fact that the horizontal swing plane or the plane line shifted to the right at this stage. We will level that off with your irons as we go, but initially I just want to see that club or those arms working in a little bit more from P1 to P2, certainly a little bit tighter at the top than what we're seeing there, and then presenting it a little bit more from the inside coming in at P6. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get some of the footage that we took a little bit later. Now obviously the light wasn't too great when we went indoors on this, but it will give you a feel for the sort of positions that we want you to try and get into. Just find you amongst these people. Judging by the amount of swings on here, I've been doing far too much teaching recently. Not spending enough time at home with wife and kids. Definitely on here somewhere, Mark. Sorry about the delay in this. No, it would appear that the later footage I took has gone missing at that stage. I'll post something a little bit later. So we want the hands and the arms working in more. Getting a little bit deeper at the top and then staying in a little bit more rather than being slightly above plane as we see there coming into it. Once I find the later footage that we took, I'll post that up for you as another little recap just for you to have a comparison to look at in regards to where I would like you ideally. Good luck with it. Great work. Really enjoyed your company. Have a great Christmas and I look forward to working with you again further in 2012.